on this week's episode of Tides of Lore.
If I had to defend Redridge, I would be an alcoholic.
The kind of soldier who has stacked enough Blackrock bodies across 3 wars that the orcs probably tell ghost stories about him. If anything,
They drew first blood.
hyena men with the confidence of somebody who's never been hit full force by a broadsword before.
I remember Yowler in the Woods, the quest in class.
This is Yowler, son of Yowler.
Yeah, I think I could trust the dwarf season that, but a human from Elwyn? No, that's
That is
insane.
in the game still to this day.
Every episode of Tides of Lore is made possible by our amazing Patreon supporters. Thank you so much to Xander Harris, Jake Hilpert, Time Lost Crow, High Lord Titan, Pewter City Gym Leader, Arulianus, The Away Fan, Insulin FTW, Bubba BSE, Arez Jerry, Watto21, Mo, Johnny Clash, JT Tech, and Niles Sierra. Your support truly means the world to us, and if you'd like to join us, consider checking us out at patreon.com/tidesoflore.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the 57th episode of Tides of Lore. My name is Robert Silva. I'm one half of your host team, joined as always by my good friend Tim. How are we doing this fine day, Tim?
Pretty good. I mean, not huge updates because it was a hectic schedule of recording, and it's only been a couple days since our last recording section. But I stopped playing Diablo. I said, screw that. We gotta get ready for TBC. So
They always come
Yeah.
back.
So I'm level 37 on the Hunter on Night Slayer. We got to equip the purple bow that you traded to me about a year ago.
I'm pretty sure we mentioned that
on
on
that
the
character.
podcast back like episode 11 or something like that too.
Yeah. Yeah, and I came to the conclusion that we're going Hunter, right? For TBC. Not because it's the meta. I've always played Hunter. Last TBC I did Paladin, so I was like, fuck it, dude. I did Paladin last time. I'm going to transfer my Paladin to White Mane. So let's do a Hunter. So yeah, we got the purple bow, and it's feeling pretty good, man. I thought it would feel a little better. I'm not going to lie. But we are doing pretty good. Damn, right. So I'm having a good time.
I will say,
What about you, Big Dog?
I will say in fairness, like I feel like compared to like hardcore, when you get like a really good weapon and you know most of your gear is kind of not the greatest stats, like you can really feel that bump when it's a venom strike or whatever and you're just do. But you know, when most of your gear is your main stat just from being able to do whatever quest you want or even picking up cheaper stuff from the auction or whatever, it's less noticeable, I feel like.
Well,
But not my
just
whirlwind
a purple
axe.
weapon. Yeah, and I'm glad I got you that. But you would think a purple weapon, I would just be like, fucking. I mean, I hit them for like 20% of their health rate. I can't.
It's also kind of
Maybe-
hard for me because I watch like the hunter do your, like when you do your attacks and it's like, you know, like 50 damage here, 100 damage here, 120 here, and it just like stacks on top of the venom strike and all that stuff, stacking. Even compared to rogue, I feel like is like smaller numbers than when you just like, oh, you've been crit for 250 damage by that sinister strike. I don't know though.
I'd be hitting for 250 right now on my crits.
Hell yeah. But yeah, I've been running the warrior still, getting that up. I finished, I mean, I mentioned it, the Winter Veil stuff. I actually have not played retail until then. We did actually get the guild started up over in Night Slayer, NA, Alliance. Please come join us. It's easier than ever. I don't have to run down everybody to get signatures like I did for the past week. So that's good. Just join the Discord. Post your name in the channel. Tell us that you want to get an invite. We're probably going to have somebody on over these next 2 months. Always. So just go ahead and drop that. We'll get you invited to the guild, and you can join us on our journey as we prepared to face the Burning Crusade.
So we got a retail guild and a classic guild. I will say, retail, I'm sorry if you haven't seen us on recently. We've been going hard on TBC prep, but we do play both. We kind of, you know, go to each version when something new comes out. So right now TBC is coming out. We're prepping for that. When midnight is closer, right, we'll probably be on retail more. So they're not dead guilds. It's not that you don't see us on. It's that we're on the other version of the game prop.
Also, at least I will be doing a lot more of the Legion remix content. Just because, I mean, you made me realize I thought the TBC was like coming on the 12th. I'm like, oh no, this is pre-patch. Like, I'll still have time. What is genuinely going away on the 12th is Legion remix. So I will be on retail a good bit more, doing some of that stuff as we move closer to TBC as well. But still, yes, my priority is to at least get my warrior ready so that I can play the video game with my friends. But yes, come join us on all of these new guilds. Come join us on the Discord. That's mostly what we've been up to, hanging out with y'all on Discord, playing WoW when we can, and that's the plan moving forward. So join us. But that's all that's been going on with us last week. Last week in the podcast, we ended up starting the Alliance Cataclysm questing storylines like we did for the Horde side over in Kalimdor, beginning over in the Northshire Abbey as your beautiful level 1 human paladin who eventually then made their way out of the Northshire Abbey into the Elwyn Forest to discover a kind of grander plot. What do you remember about last week, Tim?
I mean, very similar plot to Classic, right? You have your build up for the Defias or the Defias Brotherhood, right? All throughout Elwyn. You have your Furball, or Kobolds, excuse me, in the Kobold mines. So you kind of, see the more primitive races of WoW. And then, of course, we talked a little bit about Hogger. Hogger's still here, right? Or do we lock him up?
Yes.
We do put him in jail. So we don't kill him, I guess, canonically. We put him in jail.
Yep.
At least at this point. Who knows? We might kill him later. So that's Elwyn. And then Westfall, it's... I mean, did we talk about how different Westfall is in comparison?
In terms of appearance or in terms of questline?
Appearance.
Not really. And the reason we didn't really is because ultimately it doesn't actually have a story to it, which is crazy for me to say, because if you looked at Westfall and you saw the massive tornado rip it into pieces, you would think that's probably going to have some, like, continuing repercussions into the storyline. No. Nothing. No Malfurion coming to be like, we have to stop the cyclone like in Darkshore. None of it. It's just like, it's fucked. I don't know what to say, dog. Like,
right next to Alliance Capital, just huge, never-ending tornado, infinite tornado.
Exactly. It is, I think, the appearance of it being so ravaged, and it still having the Defias storyline does kind of build on top of it, of giving that impression that they want of Westfall, of like, these people are poor and they are being forgotten by the kingdom of Stormwind even after the world exploded. So I think in that degree, but not really. You were saying
we were in Westfall. I talked about the new Dead Mines with Vanessa
Van Cleef. Yep,
totally different boss fight. Loved that. She like messes with your mind like that one Batman villain,
Scarecrow. Yeah,
remember Scarecrow? Yeah.
It's actually a really good.
But yeah, that's mainly what I remember.
Yep. We discovered the Defias plot. Eventually, we discovered that a farmer's daughter that was adopted when she came stumbling in is actually the heir to the Defias Brotherhood in a way, as the daughter of Edwin Van Cleef, the original founder of the Defias. And yeah, she has not grown any more attached to Stormwind in all the years in Westfall, believe it or not. And the Defias return, and unfortunately, we're still kind of the bad guys in this story. I mean, I wish there was a bit more of a resolution, and there kind of is. Later down in the story, they do bring the Defias and stuff back. But right then and there, it's just kind of like, hey, you stopped those guys, and while, yeah, they had red health bars, ultimately, they were right. They were down on their luck, completely forgotten about by their kingdom. Their kingdom comes in with all these, like, when they do bring people, they just harass the homeless, and it's just, yeah. But yeah, that is what we discussed last week as we began the Alliance. Last week, you guys also did have a few comments for us. Tim, what comment did you want to highlight from last week?
Icy Blade 99 said, as someone who started playing WoW at the start of Legion, the place that feels the most like home to me is not Dalaran, but Suramor. Even though there were complaints at the time about the grind or the PTSD people still had when hearing an illusion, what are you hiding? To me, the whole slow drip and the whole grind of playing the huge raid on the Citadel and the payoff with finally freeing Illidan and the grandeur of the city as well. Keep up the great work, and happy holidays. Yeah, Surmar's a cool place. I liked going back into it in Legion Remix, and I also liked in Legion Remix you could do pretty much the whole quest line in one swoop. Kind of think they should have let us do that. Just do the whole. I hate when like one quest 1 week, another quest another week. It's like I forget the quest line, you know. But yeah, I kind of wish they could use Suramar in a different way. It is a beautiful city to not be used as much.
Well, I have two comments on that regard. One, Suramar is the best like actual city that exists in the universe that we've been to. Like it feels like a city. It's vast. It has different sections that have different kinds of people that live there and a like different purposes, from harbors to markets to this and that, and it's like genuinely big. As like I cannot like overstate, like if I like to have an ideal city, it would be like a Suramar city. And on the second note, hey, you never know, Suramar might come back into the story. Suramar actually plays a decently sized plot in the latest Blood Ties novel, and also, as you might have noticed, the King Regent of the Blood Elves recently married the High Arcanist. Yeah. So, who knows? Suramar might come back into the story a bit more. In terms of me, I'm going to highlight Samuel Cavender over on Spotify saying Tearsfall Glades is what feels like home to me. It's where it all began for me as an undead warlock. The quiet, spooky woods, the ruins of Lordaeron is my element. I also can't hate on that call because, again, my first Horde character, undead. No doubt about it. Had to make it. Lordaeron, Tearsfall, all of them amazing. Just I'm sure that there are multiple episodes at this point where we've glazed just how cool it is to walk Undercity and the remnants of Lordaeron, hear the whispers and the final words of King Menethil and all that. I will also say what I was really surprised by is that the Alliance gets a way more Tearsfall Glades zone, and I know that it's supposed to be Duskwallow, but even still, compared to the Horde that has like nothing like it.
What are you talking about? In the neighborhood?
In the neighborhood, yeah, sorry, for housing.
No, they have a Duskwood is what it's
I know.
supposed to be.
That's right.
But yes, Duskwood looks way more like Tearsfall
than
sure.
anything that the Horde has, is what I just mean by it. Which I just find crazy, because I'm like, yeah, this is like literally one fourth of your starting Horde factions. But that is all that we had to discuss from last week. Thank you guys so much for your comments. Make sure you drop those down below. One final thing before we do hop into this episode is we've been running a poll over on our Discord as well as over on the Spotify with each of these episodes, and I just wanted to let you guys know how that poll went. Last week's poll was obviously the most interesting question. Is Deloria the fairest maiden in the land? Tim, you said, nah, she ugly as...
Who the fuck is Deloria?
She's the one that Maximilian of Northshire was, like, gooning after.
Did we actually see what
you don't see her. Not this, but she is a goblin. Yeah. No, you said she was ugly as fuck. The poll says, with 5 total votes, 3 votes winning out over 2 votes saying, nah, that bit ugly as fuck, she need a bag on her face, which was a direct quote from Tim. Yes, of course, Lady Deloria is the fairest maiden in the land, so the people have spoken. Praise be to Lady Deloria and Maximilian of Northshire. Make sure you guys join the Discord, too, to vote in the polls.
She probably got warts on her nose, dude. Like fucking goblins, dude, you know?
Hey, man. The heart wants what it wants. Let's get into today's episode. Hey, Tim. Did you know that Tides of Lore is a Patreon now?
Oh, yeah? What do I get if I throw some support on Patreon?
You'll get ad-free episodes, a member shout-out, live stream access, and exclusive VODs, the full package.
So basically, skip the ads, get your name in the show, and help us keep telling Warcraft stories?
Exactly. Join the Tide at patreon.com/tidesoflore. So, as you've completed your somewhat mediocre conclusion to the Defias plotline over in Westfall, you once again find yourself called by your leader off to another land, this time on the opposite side of the Elwyn Forest, as you're called to the Redridge Mountains. And as we ride into the Redridge Mountains, we immediately get the vibe that this place is held together by stubbornness, guard towers, and the kind of optimism that you only see in people who have to live next to gnolls. Up at the Tower Watch, Captain Parker is doing what the soldiers do when they've been awake far too long. He's just staring off into the distance. Like that landscape owes him some money, and the moment you get close, he is already halfway into a rant. Those damn worthless gnolls. They're up to no good. I can feel it in my bones. Parker lays it out. Gnoll activity has tripled in the last couple of weeks, and he is convinced that they are building towards something big, something nasty, something with lots of screaming and very little planning. And he wants you to hit those gnoll camps around the 3 corners, north, east, and southwest, and bring back anything that looks like a plan. Battle plans, orders, a strategy guide. The fact that the gnolls even have a strategy guide is already alarming, because that suggests that somebody can actually read amongst them. And while you're at it, there's a bounty posted too. Very official, the Stormwind kind. Kill 15 Redridge gnolls. No nuance, no courtroom, just remove that problem. Parker says, yes, perfect. And do that too while you're out there. So you head to these 3 corners, and it is exactly what you would expect. Scrappy camps, crude barricades, and angry little hyena men with the confidence of somebody who's never been hit full force by a broadsword before. So you show them the might of the light. You fight through them, doing your part for the Redridge Sanitation Department, and you start finding that paperwork. Actual paperwork. You bring it back to Parker, and he reacts like a man who discovered some sort of new universe in the comedy written specifically to torment him. I knew it. It looks like that Yowler feller is behind it. He then pauses, because even now he hears how ridiculous that sounds, which is incredible because we keep killing gnolls named Yowler. And we mentioned before that Ungoro Crater was like the 80s meme of Kalimdor. Well, I hate to break it to y'all. Redridge Mountains is basically the same thing for the Alliance side. Once again, this zone kind of had some quest lines here that were just, not too crazy big on the story. There's a lot of people from the classic era that missed them. But then they were just like 80s action movie, like pop culture references. Throw them in there. Fuck it.
I do love the diversity of Redridge, the amount of danger that's going on. You have the gnolls, you have the orcs, you have like every corner. There's something trying to kill
Beasts,
you.
dragons.
The Tower of Il'gynoth, right? Or am I wrong?
I don't think it's Il'gynoth. I believe that's
is that
some
the
old
name?
gaudy guy, but I think it's
It's something like that.
Azora's in Elwind.
Dude, I remember going up that tower in Sod doing the paladin quests, helping some people do them. That tower's scary.
It is quite scary.
Murlocs
Tower-
too. You have Murlocs.
You're really close on that, actually. Tower of Ilgar.
See,
Yeah.
I knew it was something like that. But not only that, you also have Murlocs too. Like literally every corner, something's trying to kill you.
And it makes
I love
sense why the captain here seems to be so ready to fight everything that comes within swinging distance of him, huh?
Oh, I would be on edge.
I will also say, like, genuinely beautiful. Like, in a very unique, like, I feel like a lot of, like, the beautiful zones kind of fall in that Elwind. What's the one up in TBC for the Blood Elves?
Something song.
Eversong. The Eversong Forest, yes.
Eversong.
Nice. I feel like they all kind of fall under that similar Elwind, Eversong, or like Feralis when it's considered like this is a pretty zone. But then this one has like this, like, it's hard to describe. It's almost just like a
it's always fall.
Yeah, it's like a fall time.
Like
it's like a very everything here is kind of brown, but then there's this beautiful lake that flows through it, this magnificent castle sitting on top of like rocks and stuff, and this town that sits peacefully with all of its little fishing docks and stuff like that. Really nice.
It's next to Blackrock Mountain.
And then just behind them,
Looming Mountain. So you have orcs pouring in, trying to take over the lands, and it's just like, dude, it's like, if I had to defend Redridge, I would be an alcoholic.
a fresh-faced 18-year-old, you get your first duties. Redridge. No. All right. Either way, the conclusion is all the same. There is yet another Yowler all out and about, and the Magistrate Solomon in Lakeshire needs to know what is going on. So, before you even set down the road, Redridge reminds you that it is not only a war zone, it is also a community that has to eat, complain, and attempt to be normal while, like we've just mentioned, monsters all live but minutes away. Darcy Parker is in the full "we are out of rations" mode. Guards are hungry, morale is low, and apparently Redridge's need to survive this crisis is her world-famous Frankenbeans. She sends you out for those ingredients like this is a cooking show and not a frontier region that is constantly under threat. You're hunting gore tusks for kidneys, condors for their giblets, tarantulas for their juicy, juicy eyeballs. And the whole time you're thinking, this is the weirdest grocery list that I've ever been set out on, at least so far. But when you return, she is delighted. Perfect. I'll put these in the pot right away. Dinner should be ready in a few hours. You eating this, Tim? Gore tusk kidneys, condor giblets, and tarantula eyes? Stew?
What's a giblet?
I think it's like a throat piece, like the kind of like the tendons of the neck.
What race is making it?
Human.
I don't trust.
Edible internal organs, including liver, heart, and gizzard. Which just brings up...
If it was like a night elf or like a dwarf, if a dwarf was making that, yeah, I think I could trust a dwarf seasoning that, but a human from Elwyn, nah, dude, that's gonna be not seasoned at all, dude.
I like just imagining now that that Redridge is just like Lakeshire is the suburbs of cuisine. It's just like, I'm not going to that cookout. Sorry.
Yeah, exactly. But a dwarf cookout?
Woo!
Fuck yeah, dude. Yeah.
Some beer-basted boar ribs. Oh my god.
I think like trolls could make some good food, like some Jamaican jerk, you know?
Oh yeah, I'm here for it.
But yeah.
This is a small thing, but it sets the setting. People are terrified of an uprising, but they still want dinner. Somebody still takes pride in feeding the guards. Redridge is clinging to the routine because routine is the only thing that keeps everything from collapsing, as we know. Then it's back to business. Parker hands you a report like he's passing you a live grenade. Here, take it. Take the report to Lakeshire and deliver it to Magistrate Solomon. Inform him that we need a more comprehensive solution for dealing with the gnolls. Suggest explosive. Lots of explosives. So you travel north towards Lakeshire and the town that looks like it's trying its best. There is a bridge over Lake Everstill that is finally complete after being almost there for years. Except the moment you arrive, you see everyone looking stressed. A foreman named Oslo is pinned under a massive boulder that has apparently fallen from the sky. Workers are clustered around panicking, and Marshal Maris is overseeing the whole thing with an expression of a man who has watched a plan go wrong so many times that he no longer even expects it to go right. Inside the town hall, you do find Magistrate Solomon. He's in a full bureaucratic mode, and the first thing he does is put on a monocle like it's going to protect him from the news that you're about to bring him. He takes Parker's report and he reads it immediately, hits the same wall Parker did. Yowler! Again? And that is the exact right reaction. Solomon is not just dealing with gnolls, he's dealing with disappearances. People are going missing and the town does not even know where they're being taken. The guard is stretched thin and citizens are furious. Solomon's solution is to give you a gnome recorder. Well, he wants to give you a gnome recorder. Problem is, they're all out of gnome recorders. And this is where Redridge shifts into that glorious, completely absurd post-cataclysm questing energy, because the plan is not simply report back. The plan is, we're going to communicate with you using this two-way gnomish camera device. Yeah, cataclysm did jump the shark. There's no doubt about it.
So they changed some quests. Does Redridge look the same in Cata?
No, and we'll actually get into a big reason of why by the end of this.
Okay.
But no, much like other zones in Galamdor, it gets permanently reshapen, and also just like they've changed like certain plot lines with the Blackrock orcs and stuff like that, as we've seen that they're on the move.
Is it as beautiful as we remember it in Classic?
You see everything like at least properly built up to be ready to fight off the enemies that come at them, though I do think that we'll see. And he tells you that this last working gnome recorder was stolen by murlocs at Lake Everstill, so you are sent diving into the lake to go retrieve it. And while you're at it, Bailiff Concher cheerfully informs you that there is also a bounty on those murlocs. His pitch is basically, kill them indiscriminately. Don't gotta tell me twice, play the sound. He's not hiding the moral complexity, he is speed running it. So you head to Lake Everstill, murlocs everywhere, shrieking, splashing, and that is where they fight like they are personally offended by your existence. You cut through them, recover your gnome recorder from a small island, and reduce that local murloc population by at least 10, because Redridge believes in multitasking. While all of this is happening, you get another little reminder what this place is. Two kids, Sean and Nida, have been fishing by the lake. Nida has lost her necklace, and they think it fell into the water, but her parents will not let them go swim because there are mean things in the water. I mean, that at least is fair. If a level 1 child gets run up by that level 35 murloc, they're cooked. They're done.
Level 35?
I can't remember. Like, isn't No, you're right. It gets lowered in Cataclysm. It gets
No,
lowered in
dude.
Cataclysm. My bad.
Does it get lower? No. Well, even in Redridge, they're like level 20, 25 at most.
I actually haven't gone to Redridge on my warrior yet. Actually, no, I did. It was just so long ago before all of the working that I
Because
forgot.
when do you go to Redridge? Like right around Westfall.
Well, yeah, you finish Westfall and then you go to Redridge, which is why we're talking about it now.
But not 30.
Yeah. So you like 20s. You're right. You got me there. And you being an armored adventurer with a history of solving problems through violence are exactly the kind of person they need. So you dive into that lake once again. The murky waters of the western section are difficult to transverse, but eventually you find the necklace in a pile of glinting mud. You return it, and Nida is genuinely grateful. Thank you for finding my necklace. You are very kind. My kitty thanks you too. And her cat, FC, goes, meow. Shouts out to the cat. FC? FC. Nida then casually explains that she can speak kitty, and FC said, thank you. Look, in a world with demons, dragons, arcane teleporters, a kid translating cat is possible, so I'm not going to sell her short. Maybe she's just the first human druid. Back in Lakeshire, Solomon tunes the gnome recorder and sends you forth to the graveyard to test its reception, and you reach the graves and the device crackles to life. Reception coming in loud and clear. Solomon's voice then comes through, and he's trying to sound professional while talking into a gnomish camera box. Can you hear me? Is this thing on? It is on, unfortunately, for everyone. And right there, on your way out, Marshal Maris flags you down once again. He looks like he has not slept in 3 days, because he has not slept in 3 days. The supplies were raided by gnolls, and he describes the whole thing as an exhausted poetry of a man at the end of his rope. Just like a fart in the wind. They were in, and they were out. He wants you to recover 8 supply crates from the canyons to the north, because of course the gnolls stole the food. Of course they did. Redridge cannot have one nice thing without someone trying to eat it. With the gnome recorder now running, Solomon gives you your first official field assignment. Your first order of business is to romp through the Redridge Canyons. Kill every gnome that you see. Whoops, did I say gnome? I meant gnoll. Even Solomon is not immune to the sheer nonsense of this plan. He wants proof of kills, so you collect gnoll collars, 10 of them, and while you push deeper into the canyons, while you're out there recovering stolen supplies and stacking collars like some grim little necklace business, you start seeing signs that things are worse here than Parker even feared. There are ettins in the canyon now. Huge, brutal, two-headed, giant-like monsters wandering around like they own the place. Solomon warns you to stay out of their way if you want to remain alive, which is fair.
I don't remember that.
They are here. I don't I remember the Ettins having a bigger story in High Mountain, if you remember. They have a bigger story there.
Yeah, I remember High Mountain. I do not remember Redridge ever.
When's the last time you did this in Cataclysm?
I guess I haven't.
That's right. Then you get a drop. A dirt sane scroll, gnoll propaganda written by someone who is, at best, semi-literate. Brothers of Yowler, here Dirtpaw. Dirtpaw give an orb from Orc. Dirtpaw control Ettin things. Dirtpaw crush humies. There's also a paw print signature and a bite taken out of the scroll. Because again, gnolls cannot even deliver a manifesto without trying to eat part of it. But the important part in this is that orb. Given by orcs, used to control Ettins. That's not random. That's coordination. So you follow the clue to the Rethban Caverns, tucked in the western canyon regions, and you find the source, Ardo Dirtpaw. And you take him down. Deeper in the cave, you find the Ettin control orb, sitting there with an emanating powerful magic like it is waiting for someone with opposable thumbs to pick it up. Thankfully, that's where you come in. So you touch it, and it clicks. Just like that, you go from freelance adventurer to temporary Ettin handler, which feels like a job that you probably don't get paid enough for, but here you are. Outside, you find a canyon Ettin. Get close and use the orb. The beast lurches and settles into a subdued state, now obedient in the way only mind-controlled mountain muscle can be. Suddenly, the boulder that crushed Foreman Oslo has a solution. You march your newly acquired two-headed wrecking ball back towards Lakeshire, and the workers see you coming with no idea what to do with this information. At the bridge, you use the orb again, and the Ettin speaks like it is proud to be participating. Rock not so heavy, puny humies. The Ettin then lifts the boulder like a sack of grain. Oslo staggers upright, dusts himself off, and then immediately realizes he's standing next to an Ettin, holding the massive rock that nearly crushed him over his head. The Ettin looks around, helpful in the most dangerous way possible, and he says, "Where Tro? Tro on bridge?" The bridge workers panic and immediately run out of the way. No, please, anywhere but the bridge. The Ettin thinks it over. Okay, me Tro in water. With everyone's immense relief, It runs down to the dock, hurls the boulder into the lake, and jogs back towards the canyons like it has finished a community service project, then yells at full volume, "Bye-bye, Daddy!" Redridge is a serious place with serious problems, as you can see. Now, with all of this happening, Solomon gets more intel through the gnome recorder. He tells you the Blackrock orcs have wised up, and in that moment, the tone shifts from gnolls are a nuisance to, oh, we're actually being invaded. He sends you to the Rethben Caverns, this time specifically to hunt Blackrock orcs and recover a missive. You go in, fight through the dark-skinned Blackrock forces, and pull the missive off their bodies. When you return, Solomon does the thing where NPCs try very hard to sound competent in the face of chaos. Just put that missive in the compartment, and I'll read it later. I'm fluent in Orcish. Sure you are, buddy. Then, in the background, you hear a distraught yell, because of course you do. Solomon reads it, and the conclusion is brutal. The orcs are here under Yowler's direct command. Yowler is not just another gnoll boss. Yowler is the linchpin between the gnoll uprising and the Blackrock offensive, and that means the invasion plans are with him. So Solomon gives the order. It's time. You must find Yowler, kill the mongrel, and search his corpse for the Blackrock invasion plans.
This is crazy, because I remember Yowler in the Woods, the quest in Classic.
Mm-hmm.
And you just go kill him and kill some gnolls, and you get a 4-stamp 2-spirit ring.
And I should mention, because I'm dumb and forgot to, this Yowler, and the reason everyone keeps being like Yowler, is because that guy did die. He actually did die in Classic. This is Yowler, son of Yowler. So yeah. So you head into the northern canyons to the Yowler's den, and there he is, like we mentioned, Yowler, son of Yowler. You fight him, put him down, and recover the Blackrock invasion plans. Back in Lakeshire, Solomon reads the plans and finally says the quiet part out loud. Shadowhide army. These invasion plans speak of a massive buildup of Orcish and Gnoll forces to the east. Gath'Ilzogg, the Blackrock general, is preparing to march his armies across Lakeshire and attack Stormwind directly. There is no longer a local problem here. We must now prepare the front line. Solomon starts spiraling, talking about evacuation. He looks at the freshly finished bridge like it's mocking him.
Hey, you know how you're always telling people to listen to Tides of Lore?
Of course, I am my own biggest fan.
Well, now it's even easier. We're on Apple Podcasts, Audible, Castbox, Spotify, and YouTube.
So I can tell them, wherever you listen, that they can just hit subscribe or follow?
Exactly. No matter where you are, Azeroth Stories will find you.
The town is on the edge of being overrun, and the Magistrate is a heartbeat away from giving up. Then Colonel Trotman arrives. And the tone changes once again, because Trotman is not here to soothe. He's here to deliver the most dramatic introduction imaginable. There is hope, Solomon. Solomon can barely believe it. What hope? Trotman launches into a legend. He served 248 consecutive tours of duty across the First and Second and Third Wars. Captured 5 years ago, tortured, kept alive as a urinal for young orc warriors for 5 years. Then Trotman drops the name like a hammer. John J. Keyshawn. Yeah, the main plot line of this one is a Rambo story.
Oh my.
Solomon is stunned. Keyshawn.
They drew first blood.
Bro, the last quest is literally called They Drew First. Yeah. I'm sure more. I actually haven't seen very many Rambo movies. I'm sure there's way more references.
Yeah, I just know it from Always Sunny. That's all. I don't know if you see that with Frank. He pretends it's a Rambo movie the whole time, and he's like has a bandana around his head.
Is this the one where he's shooting the pistol comes from?
Blood.
With the revolvers?
That might be a different one. I don't remember.
I've never seen Always Sunny either.
No, it is different, because this one is they're going to like some movie premiere, I think, or something. I don't know.
Okay. I do want to watch that show eventually. I hear only good things about it. Yeah.
When I watched shows, that was my favorite.
Okay. I remember watching Trailer Park Boys with you hella back.
Oh, that's brain rot, dude. No, Always Sunny is actual comedic, like, not that.
His actual comedic peak.
Yeah, I love Always Sunny.
Solomon is stunned. Keyshawn is alive, not only alive, apparently living in Lakeshire like an outcast for months, while everyone else argued in town hall. Trotman's last word are basically, stop talking, we have people to save. Because Trotman keeps selling Keyshawn like he's a living siege weapon, you do your duty. It's time to go find him. The kind of soldier who has stacked enough Blackrock bodies across 3 wars that the orcs probably tell ghost stories about him. If anyone can stop the Blackrock push into Elwyn, that's him. There's one small issue. Keyshawn doesn't want to be found. But you track him down in the Lakeshire Inn, and of course, he's not upstairs having a quiet drink. No, he's downstairs in the underground fight club that exists in every fantasy town in the basement. He's mid-fist fight with Big Earl, and when you finally get a word in with him, you relay the threat, relay the plans, relay the obvious fact that Lakeshire is about to become a mound of rubble and ash. If nobody steps up, Keyshawn's response is not heroic. Help you? Help these people? These people would rather spit on me than crack a smile. And suddenly, Trotman's dramatic legend has a second half. The part people do not put on recruitment posters. Keyshawn lays it out. They asked him to fight in those wars. He did what he had to. He was captured by the Blackrocks and brutalized for years. Then he makes it home, expecting something, anything. And instead, he gets protests, contempt, and the label of baby orc killer. Wow, that is a line. Holy.
Who cares?
Damn, Tim.
Well,
Yeah, the horde-tied Tim is long dead. Any empathy for those orcs is gone.
well, I see what they've. I mean, it depends what kind of orc. Are these the orcs from Blackrock Mountain?
I mean, allegedly, but also like this is clear.
Yeah,
this
well,
is
then
clearly like the treatment that like Vietnam veterans got coming back from the war, right? Like this is supposed to be drawing parallels to that. And I haven't seen very many Rambo movies. I'm pretty sure those are set in the Vietnam War, or at the very least like Korea, that sort of time frame. But you take this flat out. This is not his war. You go back to Trotman with this bad news. Trotman does not yell. He just sighs like a man who's heard every version of no imaginable. I'm not giving up on him. I'm not giving up on Redridge. We need to boost his spirits, rouse the slumbering monster inside, which is a very inspiring way of saying, hey, we're going to emotionally manipulate the traumatized veteran into saving the town. Redridge is complicated, to be sure. So this does kind of get me thinking. Tim, out of all of the broken heroes dragged into one last fight, who do you think is the most memorable that comes to mind in WoW?
Sarfang.
Sarfang? Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
Is it
In the fight against Sylvanas in front of the gates of Orgrimmar, with Sylvanas saying the horde is nothing, and then the undead
just that slight
knocking their spears.
Dude, the slight look over when she says that is peak cinema. Like, I will always be the fan of show don't
finally
tell.
Realized
I'll always be a fan of show don't tell, and just having like that slight little look over instead of them being like, what? How dare you say that? So much more impactful. But yes.
I loved when the undead realized that she ain't shit.
As much as I hate how that is kind of how it went down, beautiful scene. Excited to talk about that.
So that's my favorite.
I mean, I'd probably put, if it counts, like Tyrion. Like when Tyrion shows up at Light's Hope Chapel to save the day the first time. And then it's hard to say like one last fight, but essentially he has one last grand storyline against the Lich King.
Yeah.
Yep. No, that's who I'm rooting for. Go Tyrion Forgering, the greatest paladin to ever live. He's who our human paladin aspires to be.
What was his last fight? He didn't die that way.
Well,
right?
That's why I'm like, he had more stories that technically continue on afterwards, but like he disappears in Cat and Mist, and then he appears for a little bit during Legion, and then yeah, ultimately his story for the most part concludes. We'll talk about Tyrion later. I love that man. Trotman's plan is simple on paper and absolutely deranged in practice. Step 1, get Keyshawn's weapons back, because Keyshawn did not just leave his gear behind in an orc prison. No, he left his identity behind, according to Trotman. He sends you east to Alther Mill, where you find these Blackrock orcs have set up shop and turned the place into a prison camp. 2 orc lieutenants, Murdunk and Hormurk, are holding Keyshawn's prized possessions, his bow and his survival knife. And step 2 for your plan, find Bravo Company. Because if you're going to get Keyshawn back in the field, you need to do it the old way. You need to get the team back together. The team that'll keep him alive. So, while you're in Alther Mill still, the place is a mess of sawdust and cages, and the orcs who are far too comfortable in this human land. Inside the mill, you find your first real lead, a member of Keyshawn's old battalion, Messner. He's in a cage, understandably furious about it, and the moment he hears the name Keyshawn, his whole personality changes from "I'll murder everyone" to "Wait, Johnny's alive? You mean Johnny's alive? You bet your sweet behind I'll help, but first, you gotta get me out of this cage." Perfect. We're assembling a team. Messner tells you the first step is getting the cage key, and the key is not hanging on an orc's belt, not hanging on a nice tidy hook or in a little concealed chest. No, it's in a pouch sitting on a stump in the middle of a warg den full of elite Blackrock wargs. And there's a Blackrock warg captain there too, because, why not? So Messner gives you the calm professional instructions of a man who has escaped death enough times to just be bored by it. You've got one shot to get that key without waking up any of those sleeping wargs. Also, if you have a pet, tell them to stay back, because nothing says stealth operation like your boar charging straight in and pulling the entire pit. This quest legit just calls out hunters. It's just like, hey, dismiss your pet before jumping.
I mean, warlocks.
And warlocks, so you're right. Hey, dismiss your pet before jumping. Don't be that guy.
I've been that guy.
Dude, I think the biggest nightmare is always the Nomergon jump, right? Like, the hunter or warlock that forgets the pet on the Nomergon jump, and it's like, oh, there's, like, literally nothing we can do. We're dead.
I feel like there's, like, stuff in Mar.
That too, yeah.
Yeah, there's a couple places.
What's it called? Dire Mall? Like, if you do the
Yeah.
back route? Yeah. So you creep into the den step by step, and of course, because you're such a stealthy paladin, trying to avoid the kind of chain reaction where one warg wakes up and then all the other wargs wake up, and then you wake up in a graveyard, you snag the key. You get out of there and you return to Messner. His response is immediate, loud, and deeply satisfying. It's payback time. The cage swings open and Messner does not run away. He joins you, follows like a guardian, throwing out one-liners as he fights with you in this entertaining inconvenience. Between all the jokes and rage, he gives you something important. Loyalty. He tells you that we all owe our lives to Keyshawn. He saved our hides 100 times. And that's the thing Trotman is trying to revive. Not just that Keyshawn is the killer, but that Keyshawn is the leader, the hero. Now Messner is free. You finish the other half of Trotman's first step and you hit the orc lieutenants outside the mill, Murdunk and Homerk. You reclaim Keyshawn's bow and survival knife from their hands, and the moment you do, the gnome recorder buzzes to life. Trotman comes through with that same grim confidence. Great job on getting Keyshawn's weapons back. Now there's one final mission you have to run. He asks you, are you up for the challenge? And then casually adds, as if ordering lunch, bring a good supply of body bags. Trotman is not subtle. He's not meant to be. Before you push further, Redridge does that thing that it always does, where every citizen you have ever helped remembers you, and you exist for another quick favor. Foreman Oslo, still obsessed with the bridge like he's a child, wants to recover Blackrock spyglasses from the trackers up near Render's camp, and he's already talking about Lakeshire's super bridge that will span the whole lake in 20 years or so. Give it a decade or two. So, basically, never by Redridge standards. Marshal Maris also flags you down and tells you to kill 25 Blackrock orcs anywhere around Althor's Mill or Render's camp, and he'll pay you very well for it. So, he admits that it will not stop the invasion, but it will put a kink in their plans. So, you do what Redridge adventurers do. You head north, and you take work as it comes, and that's where Trotman's second step begins, because weapons are not enough. Keyshawn is not just missing his tools, he's missing his heart. Trotman's voice comes through a little bit quieter this time, more deliberate. His gear alone won't be enough. His heart must also be in the battle. The orcs at Render's camp have 2 items of sentimental value: Keyshawn's red head bandana and a jade amulet, left to him by his wife, who was killed during the previous Blackrock invasion. Trotman is betting that if you put Keyshawn's past back in his hands, the parts that were taken away from him, his weapons, his friends, his memories, then maybe the man will stand up again. So you and Messner push towards Render's territory, and as you go, Messner points you at the next piece of the puzzle, Jorgensen. Morgan tells you that Jorgensen was being held at Render's camp, and if you're going to free him, you need his cage key. The key is ultimately held by Utraka, the key mistress, an elite Blackrock warlock posted up in the valley leading to the burning steps. So, you go hunting for a key mistress, and you find her. Near the border, dangerous and well-guarded, you take her down, prying the cage key out of the hands of somebody who absolutely did not plan on losing it today. Then you swing back to Render's camp proper, towards the cave entrance where Jorgensen is locked up in the cage, like an afterthought. The moment he sees you is pure relief. Messner, damn, it's good to see a friendly face. Get me out of here. You unlock the cage, and the second Jorgensen is freed, the urgency spikes because he knows where the remaining members are, and he's not guessing. I know where they're holding Cracker? Cracker?
What?
Cracker?
Wait.
How do you pronounce this name?
Yeah, that's Cracker. Cracker with extra steps.
Cracker with extra steps. Because I know where they're holding Cracker and Danforth. Again, so many names you just write out and you're like, yeah, that's how the name's spelled. And then you fucking read it out loud with...
Maybe it's French, like...
Cracker.
Yeah,
They're holding Cracker and Danforth. We gotta hurry. They're prepping those two for sacrifice. Bravo Company is not scattered. They're on a clock. And now the team starts to rebuild itself. The banter kicks in because apparently this is what soldiers do to keep from falling apart. Jorgensen, the paladin, immediately starts talking like a paladin. I'm probably the most important member of this team, being a paladin and all. What the fuck, dude? Sure you are.
I mean, is he wrong?
No, because I'm here, and we're the greatest level 35 paladin.
Oh, you're right.
As you push deeper into Render's Rock, you find that the Blackrock orcs are not just occupying Redridge anymore, that they are performing rituals. Redridge does not continue the way that it had started. It began as a simple border story of gnolls getting bold, supplies going missing, and a watch captain complaining that Yowler keeps showing up like it's a family title instead of a name. Normally, almost felt cozy, like we've mentioned, but at this point, feels like disaster. Then you pull one thread and it turns into a full-blown war story, complete with covert ops, explosives, traitors, dragons, and a man screaming on top of a tank, like he's trying to frighten the concept of orcs out of existence. And that's where this closing act begins. And it starts with a riverboat. Keyshawn finally stops sulking in the basement long enough to do what he was built to do. He gathers Bravo Company at the dock on Lake Everstill, and he tells you basically, if you're ready, we're going to do this properly. You climb aboard Keyshawn's riverboat, and Mesner, because Mesner is Mesner, does not gently row you across. He ignites some kind of fire attack that uses the recoil on a rocket to shoot the boat forward over the water like a Nomus accident that somehow passed inspection. Keyshawn barks out the order. We're here. Everybody out. On the far side of the lake, Camp Everstill is not pretty. It's not a heroic fortress. It seems to be nothing more than a patch of dirt where people who have seen too much set down maps and decide who lives. Keyshawn kneels over the tactical charts like he's about to plan the end of the world. Danforth, report. The Blackrock orcs blew up the bridge leading to Stonewatch Keep. Frontal assault is out of the question. Cracker? Two ways to get behind the enemy lines, Johnny. 3 if you count being dead. Then Jorgensen, the paladin, pipes up to confirm that Render's Valley is basically a kill box. 1 tower at the choke, 2 smaller huts, black rocks everywhere, a death trap. Keyshawn pauses long enough to enjoy the phrase. Death trap, eh? Then he turns to Mesner. Mesner, I got a plan. Gonna need some C-forium. Spelled C, and then forium. Anyway. Mesner responds like any sane person would. C-forium? Where the hell am I gonna get C-forium from, Johnny? Keyshawn doesn't even look up. Not my problem, Mesner. Make it happen. And that's Keyshawn in a nutshell. If it needs doing, it will be done. The cost comes later. And that's where you come in. Get your crap ready. I'm sending you out into the field. Before a big strike, you're going to need 2 things. A field kit and intel. Keyshawn has an SI-7 contact in the area, Brubarker. Scouting south of the camps, you head out expecting a handshake and a whispered update. Instead, you find a message that is written in blood and horror. Brubaker is dead. Not just dead, displayed, strung up like the orcs are not only killing people, they are signing their work. You check his pouch because this is what soldiers do when there's nothing else to report, and he writes it like a man who knows that he had no time left. Keyshawn, if you're reading this note, I'm dead. He warns that the orcs are committing unspeakable atrocities against prisoners, cages full of POWs. If Keyshawn is going to blow up the valley, he's going to have to free them first. He then signs off with the last sliver of domestic life. Tell my wife I love her. And to take out the damn trash. What the fuck?
Wait, that's in
that
game?
That is in the game still to this day.
I mean, that's not bad. Like, each spouse.
Yeah, how about you get the fuck back in the kitchen, bit? No.
It wasn't that.
Oh,
exactly.
my God, dude.
It was just taking out the trash. Everyone wants someone to take out the trash. No, that isn't.
I guess that's fair. I guess it could work too, yeah. Like, tell my kid I love him and to take out the damn trash.
Right. It's not like you say that to your wife and make me a sandwich. Like,
I would not put it past this quest line, though. And then he remembered the actual apocalypse a little bit late in the note. Oh, P.S. They've got black dragons, by the way. You return with the report, and you can almost hear the moment Keyshawn's plan shifts gears. He reads it, and his voice hardens into something colder. Damn it! This is not just complicated. We've got prisoners of war to rescue before we can blow up the valley, not to mention the orcs have black dragons on their side. Now, Keyshawn was ready for orcs. He was ready for the gnolls. He was even ready to die, but not quite for the dragon-shaped surprise that is now on the way. Still, there is no retreat. Not now. Bravo Company pivots into preparation mode, and that's when the most Warcraft thing imaginable happens. You're building a covert operations kit using the resources of a swampy frontier lake. Kaka sends you south to gather camouflage, which in Bravo Company's terms is just leaves and fox poop. Because nothing says elite mercenary unit like smearing yourself with animal shit and hoping nobody notices you. Messner, meanwhile, needs chloroform. Yeah, that chloroform. Just chloroform. Where do you get chloroform? From the glands of muck dwellers. From the bottom of Lake Everstill, obviously. You dive into the dark water, carve out the glands like this is completely normal, and then you return to the camp where Messner promises that the orcs won't know what hit them. Danforth assigns you to remove the Blackrock hunters. The scouts who haunt the Lake Ridge Highway under weak stealth. Kill every Blackrock hunter that you see. No mercy. It's grim work, but it's necessary. A plan like Keyshawn's only works if the enemies do not know that they're coming, so you do this. And then, when the field kit is ready, Keyshawn hands it to you like he's handing you a loaded weapon. He sends you into Renner's Valley with Jorgensen at your side. The kit gives you 3 tools. Camouflage, which covers you in fox poop and leaves. Distraction, which lures the orcs away. And chloroform, which knocks one out if you sneak up behind them. The orcs in the valley are elites, so if you're spotted, you're probably just dead. And to combat this, you move through like the shadows. As you use your camouflage, slip behind patrols, and drop distractions like coins in an alley, drawing elites away while you slide through the gaps of their vision. In the cave to the south side, you find the key and chloroform the solitary guards from behind, because sometimes the plan requires exactly one quiet removal. Then you cross the valley, reach the holding pens, free the prisoners as quickly as you can. They run, yelling like people who are not sure they're allowed to believe in freedom yet. The field kit crackles. Keyshawn comes in, tight voice with adrenaline. He says, "Looks like those POWs are free. Time to initiate Operation End All." And that's when he says it. To win a war, you gotta become war. This is not metaphor. This is actually the mission statement. You were told to plant C4 charges at the Blackrock Tower and the Blackrock's munition hut. You creep through these structures once again, distract, chloroform, distract again, more chloroform, plant some bombs, and get out of there. Then you regroup with Bravo Company at the Shalewood Canyon, where the rescued prisoners stand by, wide-eyed, waiting, watching the people who just saved them decide to light the match. Keyshawn looks up at you and offers you the button. Hell yeah, press the button. The explosives are very high yield, he says, and when we trigger them, the valley will be consumed by a massive fireball. He then adds the most Keyshawn line imaginable. I think you should do the honors. You did all the hard work after all. You ready? You press the trigger. Render's Valley becomes Render's Crater. The wall of flames rise, the shockwave thumps your chest, and the smoke rolls over Redridge like the land itself is trying to exhale the last of the Blackrock invasion. Messner stares at the destruction and finally says what everyone is thinking. Johnny, you realize we just blew up half of Redridge, right? Keyshawn does not blink. Redridge will heal, but those orcs won't. Yeah. Or whatever. And yes, the storyline stops trying to just pretend that it's restoring peace. This is war, and war is ugly. Then you think that the worst is over, and the next thread pulls you somewhere even stranger. Locals at Ranthal's tell Keyshawn that the gnolls in Gath'Ilzogg Valley are being controlled by a powerful magus in the Tower of Ilgar. The tower is sealed behind a magical force field, and you're going to need a key. The key is held by a gnoll general by the name of Fangor. So you hunt Fangor. You recover his key, and Keyshawn comes in over your radio with a casual confidence. That Fangor guy was a chump. He says, the easy part's over. Knowing this, you then push deeper into the Gath'Ilzogg Valley and find the Shadowhide gnolls, because apparently Keyshawn's definition of cleaning up involves slaying as many of these as possible. Quite literally, he says, slay them all. So you fight your way back to the tower, unlock it with the key, slaying as many of these gnolls as possible, going floor by floor, gnolls and guards falling behind you until you reach the top and confront the traitor, Grand Magus Doane. Doane? I'm saying Doane. Doane? Nah, whatever. A human mage working with those Blackrock orcs. Keyshawn's instructions are almost gleeful. Time to make a magus cry like the little girl that he is. You engage Doane, and for a moment it looks like this is a simple end. The traitor dies, the tower falls quiet. But Doane does not die. He summons an abomination into the fight and teleports away before you can finish him. When you finally get out there and report back, Keyshawn's reaction says everything. He teleported away, mentioned, what? Darkblaze? What the hell is that? What's going on here? And the universe decides to answer in the most absurd way possible. Keyshawn yells, coming through the radio, "Heads up, payload incoming!" A siege tank drops from the sky onto the road, and Danforth stares at it, asks the question we're all thinking, where the hell did this come from? And Keyshawn just says, Trotman. Okay. Westfall can't even get a fucking couple of army dudes, but we're dropping tanks out of the sky over here. Trotman then leaps out the back door and salutes you like he just arrived at the parade. At your service. Redridge officially has become the war movie. There's no going back. Trotman orders you into the tank because Blackrock has finally realized what's happening. They're aware, they're enraged, and they're going to come in force. So your job is to clear the path to Keyshawn's post, north through the valley, past the Tower of Ilgar, while the orcs swarm from every direction. You start driving, orcs spawn continuously. Keyshawn stands on top with his gun, firing into the crowd, shouting things that are equal parts tactical and completely unhinged. There are no friendly civilians. Run to your dark gods, you filthy animals. And then he just starts screaming. Long, primal, endless screaming. Like he's trying to drown out his own memories. Somewhere in that chaos, one line punches straight through all of the madness. I can't find your legs, Joey. I can't find your damn legs. And it seems that is the real Keyshawn surfacing for a second. Not the legend, not the basement brawler, the man who has seen war up close enough times to remember parts of people. Eventually, you reach Keyshawn's post, and Trotman tells you the final assault is ready. Stonewatch Keep, the only Blackrock high command that remains. Thalsragoon and Gath'Ilzogg, or whoever the fuck you pronounce these names, you and Bravo Company move south into Stonewatch territory. The remaining orcs are also all elites there. So, you hook up with some of the other cool-ass dudes in the zone, probably a hunter, probably a warrior, and fight as a unit. Like you were always meant to. You kill Gath'Ilzogg outside of the keep, and you find Gath'Ilzogg southwest on the broken bridge, promising that your corpses will feed his war machine. Though, you kill him too, and for a heartbeat, it feels like everything's been solved. Redridge has survived. Trotman's voice crackles through the field kit, panicked, cutting out mid-sentence. It's a trap. Get out. Blackrock has the upper hand. I repeat, Blackrock has the upper... Silence. And the world goes eerily still in the distance as you see a fully grown black dragon fly in. You move to the bridge where Gath'Ilzogg fell, and amongst the corpses and debris is a horn of summoning. You raise it and blow. Dark blaze lands, and for the moment, the horror has a human face. Grand Magus Doane. Stepping forward, smug as a man who thinks that he's already won. Tells you the Bravo Company, all present and accounted for. And then he asks the question that reframes this whole situation. He says, do you truly believe that the orcs had a presence of a mind required to plan an invasion of this magnitude? He admits that the invasion was not an orc mastermind plan. No, it never could be. It was never about gnolls or bridges or supplies. It was war orchestrated as a paltry offering to Deathwing, as their march upon Stormwind would soon begin. Doane shifts back into the dragon form, and the battle with Darkblaze begins. You fight him down, and it feels like maybe, just maybe, you can kill this monster at Endless. Then, the moment of victory comes into view. Darkblaze snaps, yelling, I grow tired of these games. He lifts his head into the air, yelling, suffer in flames, washing the battlefield over in fire. And in an instant, the rest of Bravo Company drops. Klaka, Danforth, Jorgensen, Mesner, all dead, just like that. And Keyshawn screams, not in the earlier war cry, just grief. Says, you gutless bastard, you've killed them, all of them. I'm going to kill you. Then Keyshawn does something that only makes sense when you've lived through so many wars. He leaps straight into the dragon's mouth. choosing death on his terms because letting that monster fly away after what he's done is unacceptable. As Darkblaze tries to fly off and escape, the wounds from inside begin pouring out as he flies over Lake Everstill. Keyshawn still inside of him, swirling like a human blade. Darkblaze yells that you will die with me, Keyshawn, that the world has had enough of heroes. But he's too injured. He falters and falls from the sky. Dragon and man crash into the lake, the water swallowing them whole. The ripples spread across the water, and the screaming stops. When you return to Trotman at Keyshawn's post, there are no enemies left in Stonewatch to interrupt the moment. Just wreckage, smoke, and absence. Trotman stands there, and when he speaks, the bravado is gone. A single tear rolls down his face. They died in defense of the Alliance, in defense of our kingdom. Heroes, all of them. And they will be laid to rest as such. And that's when he gives you your final orders. Return to Lakeshire. Tell Solomon the invasion has been stopped. And make sure that he understands the cost, because you are the last surviving member of Bravo Company now. Not by choice, not by design, by luck. And by the strange cruelty of surviving when other men did not. Back in Lakeshire, Solomon doesn't hesitate to once again hide behind his monocle, irritation once again growing. He acknowledges the sacrifices and tells you, yeah, they'll never be forgotten. He then gives you what they dredged from the lake, Keyshawn's possessions, the only thing that they found when they searched for his body. A dagger, a bow, a signet, and his bandana. One of your choosing only, though, sorry. A handful of objects that cannot possibly equal a man or even a whole team. Everything that they did to keep Redridge from burning. But you take one anyway, because that's what survivors do. You carry the story, you carry the legacy. You walk out of Redridge with the unsettling truth on your chest that it's not over. Not really, because the Blackrocks were only one symptom of the shadow behind them that has its own name. Deathwing. That is the end of today's episode. What did you think?
At least a blue?
It is. They are all blues, actually, yeah.
All right. As long as at least it was cool. Where did the armored tank come from?
That same. Like, I'm just like, see, there are parts of it that I'm like, okay, like, yes, this is a storyline that does make sense to even tell in this world. Like, to have a plot line about a veteran coming back from wars and not being treated, I think is a very relatable plot line to reality and having, like, all of these struggles and stuff like that. But, yeah, like we said, they just jumped the shark one too many times. And then, again, coming from Westfall where they're like, hey, we literally can't fucking feed ourselves and Stormwind doesn't even realize that we're here, to going over to Redridge and being like, yeah, dude, fucking, oh, John Cena! My God, it's King Varian Rin. He's riding on the back of a lion himself. Just, yeah, he's a bit out of place. I mean, I've mentioned it before. I actually do like when zones get updated and they change and stuff. Like, Dalaran's crater not being a massive bubble and actually being a big hole in the ground now is really cool. And seeing, zones change over time is really cool. So I actually do kind of like the progression of this story, at least how it goes. It's just, again, too many 80s jokes, too many pop culture references. It's fun to play, but as a lore storyline, it definitely is one of the more disappointing ones, and I can understand why people aren't a fan of it. What do you think, Tim? Is Keyshawn a hero? Nah, he just stole our kill is all.
I mean,
and the loot.
Yeah, he did kind of do that. Well, we got a blue.
We had to take off of his body.
Yeah.
But yes, that is where our story for today comes to its ending. As our level, 30? I think we said 30 paladin. It's looking good, feeling good. The last surviving member of Bravo Company. As we continue to make our way across the Eastern Kingdoms and prepare to face that growing threat, like we mentioned, of Deathwing. If you guys did make it this far and you enjoyed listening, please make sure you drop us a like, a comment. It really does mean a whole lot to us. It really helps to grow the channel when you do support by dropping likes, comments, 5-star rating if you're over on Spotify, or a follow. You guys have really been killing it over there. I do appreciate it. If you want to connect with us more in our community, join our Discord, join our guilds in World of Warcraft. And if you really want to support what we've been doing over here, make sure that we can keep funding it and keep it going to the best of our abilities and always improve, check out our Patreon. But that is all that we have to discuss this week, and we will see you guys next week. Thank you so much for making it to the end of this episode. Your guys' support truly means the world to us. If you're interested in hearing more, we have our full show on YouTube and Spotify, new episodes dropping every Tuesday. I also want to take this moment to give a special thank you to Fantasy Lo-Fi for providing the music for this episode. You can find them on YouTube at Fantasy Lo-Fi or on Spotify under Bits and Hits. Be sure to show them some love as their music does truly bring this journey to life. Once again, thank you for joining us on Tides of Lore, and we will see you next week.